Now, before we start, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, and they are Surfshark. More about that later. Now, I know if you watch this channel, I've not been the biggest advocate of electric cars, but what I have said is the Porsche Taycan is the ultimate electric car if you're going to have an electric car. Now, from its concept way back when, I actually was at the launch party for it, and I looked at it, it was the Mission E. And when you get a concept car, the actual reality of that concept car never comes true. It always looks totally different and never looks as cool as the concept. However, that wasn't the case with the Porsche Taycan. It looked like the Mission E. It looked futuristic, and it was. And the first iteration of the Porsche Taycan was like the initial iPhone. I remember Steve Jobs on stage showing off the iPhone, the very first concept of it. It was cutting edge. It was the future. It was the latest technology. It wasn't without its drawbacks, however. We know it had a limited app store, and it had issues with connection issues, etc. And that basically what was the initial first generation of the Taycan. It was like the initial iPhone. Now Porsche have brought out a brand new Porsche Taycan, and that is like the latest iPhone 15 Plus Pro Max or whatever it is. It is supposed to be superb. They've ironed out all the issues that they had with the first generation Taycan. It's faster, it's got more range, it's got everything about it. It's more refined. I've seen the reviews on it, I've seen pictures of it. It looks absolutely sweet. And when Porsche rang me and said, "Can we give you one?" And I said, "Really?" And they said, "Yeah, come along and we'll give you a brand new Porsche Taycan." So I'm here at Porsche Nottingham. I'm going to take it for a drive. I'm going to take you guys with us, and we're going to see exactly what it's like. And this thing is blisteringly quick. If you're new to the channel, by the way, do hit the subscribe button, click the little bell for notifications of when I upload new videos. Now, without further ado, my friends, let's go.
Can you feel electric pulses? We've got something way beyond. Can you feel electric pulses?
Wow, Porsche's got some amazing cars here at Porsche Nottingham. Some really nice cars. It's like being a kid in a sweet shop. It's amazing. I love cars. I've always loved the Porsche brand. Now, before I start and before I go any further, I can hear you in the comments section. "You hypocrite, MacMaster, you don't like electric cars." Let me just stop you right there, because Jeff Buys Cars, my good friend, will back me up on this one. What I've said is, I believe in choice, and Porsche are giving you that choice with the new 911 that's due to come out as well. I think next year or the year after, that's going to be a self-charging hybrid. Then you've got the second generation Taycan, which is what we're taking out today, and also the Panamera, and you've also got the all-electric Macan as well. And Porsche are working on cleaner fuels as well, so Porsche are at the forefront of all this. So I 100% stand by Porsche. I always have. I've had, I think, 8 Boxsters and a Macan and a Taycan. I love the Porsche brand, and I believe that we should have choice. It's all about choice. Don't take the choice away from us. And at the moment, Porsche are giving us that choice, and we can take this thing for a test drive, and it's going to be fun. Hope you're going to enjoy it. We're going to see what the changes are compared to the first generation Taycan, which I've got. As I say, they've ironed out a lot of the issues that they had with it, and they've learned from the first generation. Hopefully we're going to speak to a guy in there as well, a technician, who's going to tell us what the changes are before we take this thing out. We've got it for 2 days. Yes, a little bit clickbaity, I know. It's not mine. I wish it was. I'd just take it away and give them mine back, and then that's it. And also take one of them 911s as well. My word, they've got some gorgeous cars. Anyway, let's take a look around. Right, before we go and take this car for a spin, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to the sponsor of today's video, and they are Surfshark. Now, Surfshark are a VPN company. What does VPN stand for, I hear you ask? Well, it stands for Virtual Private Network, and it helps keep all of your very important information safe. Now, an easy way to think about it is, Surfshark puts a middleman between you and any hackers that are trying to steal your information. Now, for me, that is vital, especially as you've probably seen on all the videos that I've done. I'm always traveling around the world using public Wi-Fi in airports, hotels, restaurants, and coffee shops, logging onto my bank accounts, social media and my YouTube account to upload my daily videos. Now, logging on to a public Wi-Fi leaves you wide open to any hackers who are on the same network as you. And if they wanted to steal your information, believe me, they very easily could. However, with Surfshark, I'm protected as it encrypts my data and adds an extra layer of protection to help keep my passwords and my personal information safe. Oh, and it also allows unlimited devices on one account, which for me is ideal because I can use it on my mobile phone, my tablet and my laptop. But by far the coolest thing for me about Surfshark is, while I'm away from home overseas, I can still access my favourite shows on streaming services such as Netflix and Amazon Prime, which are normally blocked in other countries. Now, it does this by swapping the real location of your device with a new one, aka changing your IP address. This way, you can virtually travel to any country around the world. Now, this also comes in handy for me when I'm back home here in the UK, as there's a couple of shows that I like to watch on Netflix that are only available in the USA. So I open up Surfshark, I change my location to the USA, and voila! Now, the good news. You can get yourself an exclusive Surfshark deal. Enter the promo code MacMaster for an additional 4 months for free. Just click the link in the description down below or scan the QR code that's on screen now. And Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk to try it out. Don't forget, click the link in the description down below or scan that QR code on screen now. Right, let's go and test drive this car. Right, here we are at Porsche Nottingham. For me, this is where it's all started because I got my first Porsche Boxster here, right here in Nottingham. I've been loyal to the brand, I've been loyal to Porsche Nottingham, and thankfully they've let me test drive the new Porsche Taycan today, which I'm super excited about. I've seen all the reviews, I've seen Top Gear test drive it out, I've seen Autocar test drive it out, and no one has had a bad word for it. It is really the latest iteration of the Porsche Taycan. It's refined and I'm looking forward to it, and I'm going to take you guys with us. Have a look round while I go and pick up the keys. So Porsche Nottingham is actually a destination Porsche site, which means you can pull up outside, charge up your Porsche Taycan electric, or you can charge up your Porsche Macan electric, and high-speed chargers are available outside. Pop in here, there's a coffee shop downstairs with little biscuits as well, and then upstairs here you've actually got a workspace with high-speed Wi-Fi, so you can sit down at a desk and work whilst having a coffee. Another coffee machine up here as well. dedicated handover bays, and downstairs also, where you spec up your car, they waft the same smell and scent in each destination site. So wherever you go to any Porsche destination site, they all smell exactly the same. That's mad. So this is what is called the fitting lounge. Now every Porsche destination site has one of these, and they smell exactly the same. Like I said earlier on, they waft a nice smelling scent into the room. So whichever one you go to, they all smell exactly the same, and it smells lush. Okay, my friends, so the car that we're going to take out is behind us there. It's in ice grey, isn't it?
It says ice grey.
Ice grey. Now we've got Matthew here, who is a Porsche professional. Is that what you call Porsche
That's
Pro?
correct, yep,
Porsche
Porsche
professional.
Pro.
And what's your job? What does that entail?
So essentially, any customer that wants to come in,
Yeah.
interested in the brand, in the cars, they'll come and visit me and another one of my colleagues. We'll go through the history of the brand, bit of storytelling, and then from there we'll go to other cars, maybe a 718 or a 911, and we'll go through the range and essentially show them the differences, where there's similarities as well over the years, and then start to do a bit of a deep dive. And then once they want to proceed and go a bit further and go test drive and then purchase a car, we then pass it on to a sales executive. So we're the start in a customer journey.
So you don't just deal in electric cars; you're doing the whole entire brand,
whole range. Yeah.
Now I have said I haven't been the biggest advocate of electric cars. However, I have said that the Porsche Taycan is an excellent car. It's all about choice. Porsche are giving us that choice. They're giving us electric, they're giving us hybrid. I believe the 911, I don't know whether there's any fact in this yet, is going to be a self-charging hybrid that they're working on. Is there any truth in that?
Not too sure.
Right.
So normally we'll find those bits out when we go and do our training on the car. At the moment, we don't know.
And
we're almost in the same position as the customers.
And the new Panamera as well, that's hybrid, isn't it?
Panamera hybrid.
Panamera's hybrid.
Yep.
You've got the new Macan, which is EV.
Macan EV, yeah.
I've even read online that Porsche are working on some kind of synthetic e-fuel or something. They're at the forefront of everything.
Yeah,
really.
absolutely. Yeah, they've got an e-fuel plant in Chile, and particularly this year, they're putting it into their Porsche Super Cup 911 race cars that are racing all over the world.
Right.
So they're seeing how it goes there before they then put it into the road cars.
So they're not just investing in electric; they're investing in synthetic e-fuels as well. So and also hybrids. So it's all about choice. Now, today it's all about the Porsche Taycan.
Absolutely.
I have the first generation one, which I've said earlier on. It's a little bit like the initial iPhone. It wasn't without its flaws, but it was cutting edge technology, and it was the future. And it's brought us to today, which is the iPhone 15 Pro Max or something.
Something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. And this is the newer version of it with all the flaws ironed out, and it's almost perfection, I'd say, is it?
Yeah, definitely. It's 100% a step up. We went out to Portugal recently to drive the car prior to the customers getting their hands on them, and all of the team from Germany were there. We had a team from Porsche Cars Great Britain there as well, and we had a good few days putting the cars through its paces, seeing how they get on, just having a play, really putting them, you know,
To the test.
to the test, going through all the drive modes, you know, the Sport Plus,
Yeah.
launch control, bit of track driving as well. It's definitely a step up.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
I've heard and I've seen quite a few reviews saying that the acceleration on this thing is insane. It's it literally hurts your liver, hurts your kidneys. It's that fast.
Yeah, definitely.
The 0 to 60 on one of them, I believe, is the Turbo GT or something, is like 2.2 seconds or something daft. I don't know what this one is. Probably about 3, I think, or something.
So, on the 0 to 60 front, all of the new Taycans have actually they've improved in that area.
Yeah.
So the 4S behind us, that's 0.3 of a second quicker to 60. If you wanted it, you know, to be even quicker than it already was to 60, it's
Yeah.
now a bit more quicker than that as well. And yeah, the Turbo GT, it's absolutely bonkers. And some of us reckon it's probably sub 2 seconds, but I reckon Porsche will probably hide a couple of tenths in their pocket.
Now,
That one.
the big thing is with electric cars, it's
Yeah.
not just the speed. We know the torque's there, the speed's there.
Yeah.
It's range. Now,
Yeah.
Porsche have worked on the range on the Taycan, haven't they? They've given you
Yeah.
a better range.
Yeah, they were taking it really seriously. They'd seen all of the feedback from customers that were the early adopters of
Yeah.
the first Gen 1, taken that into consideration, and they've worked so much on the new one. Bigger battery, bigger range, not just the normal battery, the Performance Plus battery, that's got bigger as well, more range on that. So for any customers that were wanting well over 250, no problem at all. I would definitely say it'll do 300.
Wow, that is good. And also, I've had an issue with infrastructure, but Porsche are working on their infrastructure as well, alongside of Ionity, I believe, as
Yeah.
well.
So Ionity have been there since pretty much day one from the first gen, and the charging networks definitely got bigger. There's more brands that have come along as well. So BP Pulse are now on the Porsche charging network. So are Shell. Shell are actually one of the real big drivers of it. And between Shell and BP, they're a lot more frequent than what they used to be. So any electric car users and Taycan users that were, you know, previously wondering, oh, where am I going to charge the car? Have I got to go 50, 60 miles out of my way to find one? Definitely not the case now. And the car will help you do that.
Now,
It's-
it's had some design tweaks, but Porsche tend to keep everything, it's in their DNA.
Yeah.
So it looks essentially the same car. And I was always impressed because the Mission E, when it came out,
Yeah,
I said earlier on, with a concept car, the reality is never like the concept at all. But with the Mission E,
Yeah.
when the Taycan came out, it was like, wow, it looks almost the same car.
it sort of kept it similar, didn't it?
Yeah, and they've not ruined that; they've tweaked it.
Yeah.
So because it's a really good looking car.
Yeah.
But they've just improved it. So you're going to show us around a few of these features.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. Let's
Yeah.
take a look.
So, going to do a brief walk around of this 4S demonstrator that we've got here and just show you the differences between the previous Taycan and on this new one. So if you come and follow me around. So firstly, at the front of the car, the overall shape of the light has changed slightly. The main difference in the middle is the styling in the lights. That's one of the changes. They've also tweaked the front bumper. On the previous Taycan, from the edge of the light there, it sort of came down and across like that. And then that would change if you had the sports design kit as well. With this one, it's a lot smaller. And then as we come around front, and then around to the side, we've got new wheel choice as well. And this is one of the new wheel choices just on this one here. The main bulk of the changes is on the inside of the car. So like I say, bigger battery. And the software's a lot better as well. On the rear, as you go up the model range, there is actually a slight change around here as well. So you've got more air curtains at the side grills, making it look a little bit more aggressive. The actual light bar as well, on the previous Taycan, it was just the top of the light bar that was lighting up. Now, you can have the actual Porsche logo that lights up. And we've seen it and it looks really impressive. And from there, like I say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The main thing they've focused on is the battery size, the range, the software, the electric motor. So for example, the electric motor is lighter, it's more robust, it can take more thermal energy systems are a lot better than what they used to be as well. So from the ground up, all the nitty-gritty stuff in the car is a lot better than what it was before, and I'm sure Porsche owners will definitely notice the difference when they jump from a old gen model to a new one.
Right, so there's the changes. Now I'm going to take this away for a couple of days and do a little test on it, etc. But we're going to get Matthew to take us out first so I can film him. He can tell us a little bit more about the car and how it feels and what's changed inside. So let's get in the car. Stop messing around, come on. Okay, so here we are inside the cockpit. It looks a bit like mine, but tweaked slightly.
Yeah, so from the interior point of view, there wasn't really much that needed to be changed. There were a few things that they thought, you know what, we'll tweak it. So for example, on the steering wheel there used to be the recuperation button. That's now gone, and that's on the car screen on the PCM now. So they've cleaned a few things up and kept bits on the inside the same, so it's not too much of a step into the unknown for anyone who's gone from a previous Taycan.
So is this is the four-wheel drive version, is it?
So this is the four-wheel drive version, so more power, a lot more stable than in comparison to a two-wheel drive.
And 0 to 60 on this one's going to be roughly...
0 to 60 on the previous 4S, just as a benchmark, was 4 seconds. It's now 3.7.
Wow. Feels a bit firmer than mine. Is the suspension different, or have they tweaked the suspension, or?
I would say it's definitely more solid is probably how I'd put it. Yeah, definitely. Not as floaty.
Yeah.
If there was a change, I'd say that, yeah, it's definitely more solid, more...
Feels more planted.
More planted. You feel like you're in a bit more control than you were. Even not to, you know, do a downer on the previous gen.
No, the previous one was
really
excellent.
good as well. But there's definitely tweaks that you can tell with the ride.
Now the difference with this one, this is the 4S, so this is four-wheel drive. It's obviously going to feel different to mine anyway.
Yeah.
Mine was the base model, expected with ridiculous amounts of extras that I put on it, which is probably where I lost a lot of the money on. But this thing, wow, it's oh, that is insane. That's mad. That's literally instant power. That's crazy. That is insane. Insane. Right, so we're in normal mode at the moment.
Yep.
Okay, so if we've got Sport and Sports Plus on here, like mine.
Yep.
And Sports Plus is just insanely quick, lowers the suspension.
Yeah, so as you go through the modes, there's certain presets within those modes, one of them being the car will hunker down, be a lot more slippy through the air, and a lot quicker acceleration as well.
Now then, my question is, you know what I'm going to ask? Is there anywhere we could take it from a standing start just to see what it's like?
I'm sure there is. Yeah.
Excellent. Within the legal limits, of
course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Wow, impressive. My other question is going to be charging time. Has that changed?
Charging time's definitely improved. So from a DC point of view, state of charge from 10% to 80% is now down to 18 minutes.
18 minutes?
18 minutes.
From 10 to?
From 10 to 80%, 18 minutes.
18 minutes, wow, that is a change.
So when you are on those longer journeys and the car's plotting those charging stops, they're now shorter charging stops as well.
Wow, that's cornering, that's cornering excellent.
There is another system that's introduced with this car, and it's called Porsche Active Ride. So what that'll do is, let's say you're accelerating really hard, which is quite easy to do in a Taycan. The rear of the car will lift up to keep the car level. It'll do the opposite when the car brakes. So when you brake, the front will lift up as well, again to keep it flat. Going into left-handed bends, the car will then tilt and pitch the other way to keep it level. and then the opposite again on the right. And then when you come to park the car will lift up ever so slightly to make it easier for you to get out as well. So it's a really clever system, and we did sample it when we went out to Portugal a couple of months ago, and I do have to say it's mega impressive to experience it. Whether it's going to be one of those options that a lot of people go for, I hope so, because it's definitely something, now I've tried it, I would put on one. It just makes the driving experience so much better.
I was just saying to Matthew, the road noise in this car seems a lot quieter. I don't know whether, because this car's got Michelin's on, as you just said.
Yeah.
Mine's got Pirelli's. I don't know if that has a bearing on it, but the actual noise inside the cabin seems a heck of a lot quieter. It's just a firmer, more solid ride and a lot quieter. It's a nice place to be. It's a nice place to be. Right, so we're going to do a stop and a start here. So we're at a stop, a standstill. We're going to go for it from standing still.
Ready?
Up to the legal limit, obviously. Okay,
Really?
ready. There we go. Oh! 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 God, my kidneys! Oh! Whoa! Good grief! Oh my God!
It's a lot quicker.
You feel all your
quicker.
bodily organs just going backwards in your body. That is insane. That's not right. That's not humanly possible.
And that's just a 4S.
And that's just a 4S. What's the top one like with the spoiler then? That must hurt.
Absolutely insane, to be fair. And that was one thing I'm going to mention as well. When we went out to test the new car, there was the Turbo GTs out there at the time, fully camoed up. We weren't allowed to take pictures or anything because the car hadn't been announced yet, and we actually went round Estoril circuit for passenger laps. It's frightening what it can do, the amount of technology and how fast, you know, not just Porsche, there'll be other brands as well that are learning and putting it into these cars. It's amazing what it can do. There's even a mode called track endurance mode.
Yeah.
So the car will sit and it will go through a cycle where it's just constantly pumping in heat around the car, getting it ready for use on track. And that's what will help the Turbo GT do what it does performance-wise. There's also a new push-to-pass system.
Yeah.
As well. Works similar how the sports response button did.
Yeah.
In not just the Taycans but the other models as well. And you'll then get again a little button on the chrono switch.
Yeah.
Gives you that boost as well. So there's a few things they've changed.
Isn't there an attack mode or something on it?
On the Turbo GT there is an attack mode. So I would assume that's been taken, or the idea of it's been taken from the Formula E cars.
Yeah.
So there is a section in a Formula E race that Porsche compete in, and there is attack mode sections which, providing the drivers drive through it, they get an extra certain amount of brake horsepower. They'll have put that idea and put it into the Taycan as well.
I like the sound of that attack mode.
Yeah.
I like that. Sounds good. What a car. I mean, it's mad. So another question, what's the actual lead time on the new Gen 2 Porsche Taycan, and are they still selling the first generation Taycan alongside, or have they stopped selling them? Are they not for sale anymore? The only way you can get one is buying a used one.
So in terms of the new to the old, yes, some dealers may have some pre-regged ones. Our site personally, we've sold out of all our pre-reg ones, so from our point of view the only way to get into a Gen 1 would be in the used market. And then in terms of lead times, it's approximately 6 months for a Gen 2.
Excellent. Right, I want to get my hands on the keys, but before I get my hands on the keys and take it for a spin myself, figures, what are we talking on this one?
So headline figures, 544 PS.
Yeah,
Charging time down to 18 minutes.
yeah.
0 to 60 was 4, now 3.7, so that bit quicker. And prices start with the two-wheel drives at £86,500.
So not a great deal of change from the Generation 1. Brilliant. Can I have the keys?
Absolutely.
Can I take it?
There we go.
I've got the keys, look. I've got the keys. New key. There we go. I'm going to take it for a spin. You can have mine. I'll give you my keys.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Onwards, my friends.
This is the rhythm of my soul. Can you feel electric pulses? We got something way beyond. Can you feel electric pulses? I'm lost in your eyes. Don't need to pretend. My mind gets lost again and again. Don't try to run and hide. I will catch up. 'Cause fear is so.
Right, so there you go, the new Porsche Taycan. Let's get inside it. You've seen the difference there between mine, which is the blue one, and then the new one, the second gen, which is the white one. Now it's time for me to get into the driving seat and test this thing out. Let's get inside. Right, okay, so now it's my turn. How do I turn this air conditioning off? There we go, that's it. Just put the AC on low. Okay, so we've got 96% of battery, 239 miles of range, and everything's set up for me. So we've been through all the figures with Matthew, so we're just going to have some fun. This has got an electronic steering wheel column. There we go. That's it. Pop that right. We'll get it right, and then we're going to take this bad boy for a spin. Here we go. Right. Okay. Let's see what it feels like. It's now remember, this is four-wheel drive compared to mine. Mine's two-wheel drive, and this is the S version. So this is going to be S for supersonic. Oh, the seatbelts are pulling me in. Right, we need to go here. We'll go left, I think. Okay. The steering feels pretty much the same. Very nice, very responsive. Okay, but the acceleration, which I don't want to try out just yet. Matthew tried it. Honestly, it was absolutely insane. It was insanely quick. Right, traffic lights on red. Let's give it a go. I just want to give it a go. There we go. Okay, yeah, it's very responsive, let's put it that way. Got to do this safely though. Right, let's hit the road, try and find somewhere where we can open it up a little bit, within the legal limits of course, before all the keyboard warriors start off, and we'll see what it's like. But I tell you what, the steering, very, very Porsche-like, very Porsche-like, very responsive. The actual cockpit of the car does, as I said earlier on, seem pretty much the same layout as mine, just a little bit more refined in places. It just seems a little bit more refined, and the buttons on the steering wheel, some of them have moved, and again, just slightly tweaked, keeping that Porsche DNA. Really, really nice layout. The only issue is, you want to open it up, you want to feel the power, but you can't because of the amount of potholes that are in the road. And obviously we're in the city at the moment now. We're coming through Nottingham, so there we go. I've also sent Jeff Buy's cars. What is beeping at me? Something's beeping at me. It's the lane assist. How do I need to turn the lane assist off. 1 second, I need to turn this off. There we go. Driver assist mode. It's got all the different assist modes on here. That's what I need to turn off. I might have to do that in a little bit. Where do we go? I'm trying to figure it out. I'll come back in a minute. I need to turn all that off. Right, I fathomed that out because it's got adaptive cruise control on this as well, which is quite handy to have really when you're on the motorway, because you can just put it on cruise control, and obviously what that will do is, because it's got cameras on the front, it'll obviously just change the actual speed of the car and keep a safe distance from the car in front. I've managed to turn off the lane assist, which keeps beeping if I go near the lanes, and it kind of takes the wheel out of your hand. I'm not keen on that. I use it sometimes when I'm on the motorways, but when I'm driving around town, I don't want that on. Everything else in here, pretty familiar, pretty much the same as the inside of my cabin, apart from the actual range, which apparently is more than mine, and it's showing more than mine at the moment. 96%. We're going to drive it around. Wow, this car's only actually done 111 miles. That's all it's got on the clock. Wow. Right, you know, I've literally just come through the city centre there, through Nottingham. It drives really, really nice. Even at slow speeds, it doesn't make you want to go, you know, you've got to go for it. It handles just normal speeds really, really well. It's me though that wants to actually open it up and put my foot down. But there's speed cameras here. It's 50 mile an hour there. I've gone through a 20 mile an hour speed zone. I need some roads where I can actually open this thing up, some windy roads. So I'm heading off to towards the outskirts of Mansfield, where there's some windy country roads that we can give it a little bit more of a test, and that is where it'll excel on the bends and all the little turns, etc. And then we'll find out what it's like for real. Right, okay, so believe it or not, we're coming into Blidworth Bottoms. We might find a few Tesla owners down here. Right, here we go. So this is a bit more of an open road down here, and some windy bends that we can give it a real bit of a test. Maximum speed is 60, so that's good. That's fast enough. We'll do it standing start as well. I know Matthew did a standing start earlier on, but I want to give it a go myself and just see what it's like in the actual driving seat. But let's open this up a bit. Oh, that's mental. That is nuts. You can feel your bodily organs pushing to the back. There's just no need for that. That should be illegal. That's mental. Right, let's slow down here and let's give this some welly. Here we go. Here we go. Right, and full power. Oh! That is nuts. That's not right. You can, the thing with it as well, the insane thing with it as well, there's no wheel spin. It's planted to the ground and it just goes from a standing still here to naught, and then it's in the back of the seat. I can feel my jowls. That's not 60. That's insane. That is insane. And there's no wheel spin. It literally is putting every ounce of power down onto the ground, to the wheels, to the tires, and propelling you into insanity. That's nuts. Car coming. There we go. Go on, go ahead, BMW man. Oh, he's letting me go. There we go. Right, that is nuts. Now that wasn't even in sports mode, that was in normal mode, right? So just get your head around this. That was in normal mode. I'm now going to switch this to Sport Plus. So what's happening now is all the suspension's hardening up, the car's dropping lower, so you can actually see it flashing on the dash there. It's dropping lower, and you've got more response from the foot pedal. So we're going to turn right here up this hill here, which has got a clear straight, and we're gonna go in a minute. There's a car pulling in. Get out of the way, get out of the way. Right, here we go. So this is now Sports Plus. You've got the sound of the electronic engine sound on. Here we go, we're in there. So I'm going to put my foot on the brake, put my foot, launch control, here we go. Oh! 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 Good God! It takes your breath. That's mental. It's got some kind of rocket sound as well when you put the launch control on. That is not right. That is not right. Right, so let's get around these back roads and see how it handles now. Still on sports mode, Sports Plus. That launch control was just insane. It leaves you, this sounds a bit mad, and I'm not exaggerating. It actually hurts your organs inside. It's pushing you back that much. Right, so here we go. I mean, look at the acceleration on that. That's insane. Wow, that is nuts. And it handles, so we're going around the bends here, avoiding all the potholes. Okay, the range, I will have to say, we're down to 91% of battery and 207 miles of range, and it's lasting longer. The battery is actually lasting longer than mine. The range is better, so they have improved the range. Right, let's take this. Look at this. Absolutely insane. Pothole, avoid that. Good grief, the roads are terrible. Right, it's so responsive, and the steering on it is insane. It's very Porsche-like. Everything seems a little bit firmer, a little bit more responsive, and a hell of a lot quicker. Now I can hear you before you start tapping on the keyboards. You've never liked electric cars, blah blah blah, you're a hypocrite. I've said it earlier on in the video, and I will say it again, right? My issue with electric cars is the same as Jeff Buys Cars, who we're going to get on the phone pretty shortly as well, because I've sent him a picture of this car, and he said the same thing as me. Just give us choice. If you want an electric car, have an electric car. If you want a hybrid, have a hybrid. If you want a petrol, have a petrol. The choice should be there. We're having that choice taken away from us, and it is all about choice. It's the same with cash and card and contactless. You've got places that don't accept cash anymore, and places that don't accept card and cash only. I want choice. If I want to pay with Apple Pay, I want to pay with Apple Pay. If I want to go in and pay by cash, I want to go in and pay by cash. Don't take the choice away from us. And Porsche are working on that, as I've said earlier on, with all the different e-fuels, etc., and also the hybrids and the electrics. This, now, if you want an electric car, believe me, after driving it and sitting in it and looking at it, this is the ultimate electric car. This is the ultimate electric car. They have refined it to perfection for if you want an electric car. Right, we're going to open this thing up again on the long road down here, and we're also going to call Jeff Buys Cars and hopefully get him on the phone. Right, here we are. Okay, so we're going to slow down a little bit, and we're going to open this thing up again. So we're going to do a launch control. Here we go. So launch control, here we go. God, jeez, it takes your breath. That's all I'm gonna say. It's nuts. That is just insane. I'm not doing that again now. That is insane. That's mental. Right, you know what? I'm going to pull up just here. I'm going to pull up right here, just in front of this wind turbine, and we're going to take a closer look at the car in fine detail. So let's get out and have a look. Here we go. Right, what an absolutely gorgeous day. So, have a closer look at the car in fine detail, my friends, and tell me what you think compared to mine. Right, so there you go, that's the second generation Porsche Taycan. Now, what do I think compared to mine? Do I still think that electric cars are not the future? What are my thoughts on the Porsche Taycan? Well, we'll get to that in a moment, but first of all, I want to say a massive thank you once again to the sponsor of today's video, who are Surfshark. Now, don't forget, click that link in the description down below and use the code MacMaster for 4 months extra for free, or scan the QR code that is on screen now. Head over, do it, and secure your privacy with Surfshark. Right, let's get down to business. The car itself, as I said earlier on, my Porsche Taycan was the first generation iPhone. It was cutting edge. It was the future of technology. It was superb, but it wasn't without its faults. And as time has gone on, the iPhone has become now to be, I think, the leading phone, the leading smartphone in the market, on the market. They've ironed out all the issues. Porsche have knocked it out the ballpark with this car. It is superb. Longer range, longer battery life, faster charging. The only drawback still is the actual network and the infrastructure. Is the infrastructure going to get any better? Who knows? But my issue with it was, before you say hypocrite once again in that comment section, it was all about choice. I don't want the choice taken away from us. I want us to have petrol, hybrid and electric. I think there's room for all of them in the market. And Porsche are leading the way with e-fuels. So that's another thing to look forward to. And they've also got the hybrids coming out as well, the self-charging hybrids, which I have heard, if you want to pop it in the comment section down below, the 911 will be a self-charging hybrid, which I think should be pretty good. I'm open-minded about that. This car itself, it is fantastic. It handles well. Every fault has been ironed out. This is now the iPhone 15 Pro Max of the electric car world. It is the best electric car that you can get. If you're going to get an electric car and you can afford it, get this one. Porsche Taycan, second generation. Fantastic. Thank you once again to Surfshark. And I shall see you guys in the next one. Going to give it a bit of a drive. I tried to get hold of Jeff Buys Cars. I said, come out for a spin, but he was busy. Sorry, Jeff. Next time. I'll see you guys in the next one. Leave me now. I need to drive it. I think I might have to put the old launch control on one more time.